Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So here I have another 10 pens currently inked for this week. I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda, and this is a King Cobra. We have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. We have the Montegrappa Bartolomeo Ferrachina in the shiny circles. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Sunlight. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and this is in the Positano blue. We have another Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize, and this is in the Jade. We have a Visconti Ducale Palazzo di Sassuolo. We have an Atelier Lusso Carina, and this is in the black ice Alumilite. And we have a Visconti Rotary. So I think let's just take a look at these pens in a little bit more detail. So this is a custom pen that I had made a few years ago, and it's made from Eric at Atelier Lusso, or I think it's lussopens.com. He's in the California area in the US, and I asked that he could make a number of custom pens for me. I had some of them made in the Carina and some of them made in the Andromedas here. So this is the Andromeda, and you can see there the cap finial. This is a clipless pen. It's a resin pen, but I really wanted this lovely golden sort of, well, I guess maybe more bronzy sort of and silver effect there going on, but I wanted that King Cobra as a motif on the cap. And I said to Eric, could you get this? And he bought the rod material and made a pen for me. So this is an Andromeda, and it has a number 6 size Yovo nib, and this is a broad nib. I prefer broad Yovo steel nibs, and one thing you will see is that this is a very sort of fat bodied pen, but it does have a bit of a step down, and the reason for that is that that cap matches sort of seamlessly almost, and so you don't want like a wider cap or a narrower cap. So the section is a little bit more thinner here, but I really do like writing with this pen. So I decided I would ink this one back up because I've not had it inked up for some time. So I really wanted to give that a try again. So I've been writing with that this week. I also have the Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. Now, before you say, I want that pen, it is long sold out. This was a Goulet Pens exclusive, and I picked this up from Brian. I messaged him at the time when he was announcing this, and I said, I really want this. And we came to a bit of a deal on this, and I'm glad that I managed to add it to my collection, because you could only get this from Goulet Pens. You could get other Montegrappa extra Ottos and even some extra 1930s in this celluloid material, but what you actually had on those pens was a silver section, and I don't like so much the silver section. So I really liked that Brian had asked Montegrappa to, I'm trying to think of their name, Montegrappa to make the section as the celluloid, because that really made the sale for me to get this pen. So I'm really, really glad. This also has a number 8 size Montegrappa nib. It's an 18 karat gold nib, and you can see the ebonite feeder there. It's just that very slimline profile there, and you can see the whole pen. It's a beautiful work of art, this celluloid, and I really do love it. So I have this one inked up this week. The reason why I don't like the section is that the silver on here tarnishes. So you do have to, if you don't want it to tarnish, you do have to polish it a lot. And I've not polished that for a while, so it's starting to tarnish a little bit. I also have this one inked up, and this is again another Montegrappa. It's not an extra 1930, it's a Bartolomeo Ferrachina. And this is the shiny circles. So the circles go around the pen, the lines go up and down the pen. And this one was polished, and it's starting to develop a little bit of a patina, and I might polish that back off again so that it really sparkles. Now, Bartolomeo Ferrachina was a clock manufacturer or artisan, and this comes with a clock there on the cap finial. And you can, if you want to, you can remove this and just have that there instead. It looks a little bit strange to me, so I always have the clock there. And it always matches up. You've got the turn this, you can actually change the time. Now, this clock is a solar clock, so and it's got a little battery, quartz battery inside it. So it's not a mechanical clock due to the size, but I love this pen, and so I'm really glad I was able to add this one to my collection. I got this from Insta-ME, and we had been talking about this long and hard for a while. He brought it to the London Pen Show when his first London Pen Show he came, and I nearly bought it there and then, and I let him go away with it. And then I think a couple of months later, I finally decided, yes, I'm going to go for it. So this has a number 8 size nib, again, another Montegrappa nib there. This does have the silver section, so you can kind of see, like, that silver section is quite polished. You can kind of see the difference there between the two. So when silver does start to tarnish, it develops a little bit of like a copper patina. So that is polished, and I probably need to polish just the trims here a little bit just to bring that back. So I have this one inked up as well this week, and I do like writing with that one as well. The next pen here is a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight. And these are not cheap pens. The Montegrappa Ferrachina wasn't cheap. But these are not. These Raden Starlights or the M1000 Radens are not cheap pens. So it took me a long time before I decided I would actually buy this pen. It was a pen that was on my wish list for several years, and I couldn't find one. And then this one just popped up out of nowhere. And honestly, this is what happens to a lot of the pens that I buy. I add them to either a physical or a virtual wish list and think, you know what, this is a pen that I really, really would like to get at some point. And I go and look for it, and I can't find one. And then either months or a few years go by, and then suddenly one pops up. And then at that point, I've learnt my lesson. If you don't jump at it at that point, then you will probably lose it, and then you'll wait another couple of years. So I'm really glad that I was able to pick this one up. You can just see here, not only the gold dust here, but also the Raden strips. It's a really beautiful pen. So I have this one inked up. It's got a number 8 size Pelikan M1000 nib. These all, the Raden editions come with a medium nib. I can swap that nib out if I want to. Typically I don't want to, because they do write quite broad anyway. The next pen I have inked up is the M1000 Raden Sunlight. And this, you can really see that Raden there, just look at that. It's really beautiful. So this was a pen, again, that I really wanted, and as it normally happens, like, I saw this pen and I bought it, and within a month this pen came up. So it's like buses. you kind of want one, and one won't turn up, and then you get two turn up almost at the same time. So I was lucky to be able to pick both of these up when I did. I really didn't want to buy another one so quick after the first, but I knew that, again, this one had been waiting for about 2 years on my wish list, and the chance of me picking this one back up again was going to be pretty rare. So this has again another M1000 medium nib. So I have that one inked up today as well, this week, and I just love those pens. The medium nibs for me write more like a broad or double broad in some cases, but I like them. I do like the pens, the weight and the size of them. The next pen is a Wahl Eversharp. This is a Decoband. It's an oversize, and this is in the Positano blue, and it's a resin. It's not a celluloid. Some of the Wahl Eversharps do have celluloid. This is a resin, but this is quite a striking resin. You can just see the chatoyance out on that resin as you rotate it. It's a big pen. It has a big nib as well, like really all these four here. It has a number 8 size nib, and you can see that there it is inked up, and the laser etching on this nib does catch the ink a lot, so when it's inked up, the nib does sort of change color a little bit, but when you wash it off and flush it out, it's perfectly fine. So that is inked up with me this week as well. And then we have another Wahl Eversharp, and this is again the Decoband oversize, and this is in the Jade. And again, this is another really beautiful resin here. So I do like this a lot. It's one of the pens I've been wanting for, again, I want to say 2 years now. I had this and the Positano Blue on my wish list for, and I could have sort of bought them, but I didn't, and because I didn't get the right price, and I kind of kicked myself. So when I saw that these are available, I decided to go and buy them. But this resin is quite interesting. So again, this has a number 8 size nib. This is inked up here. So again, it's generally a medium nib, but they tend to write more like a broad nib. But these are really nice pens. Very, very long, very thick, girthy, weighty pens. So that's what I like in a pen, honestly. And then I have this one, and this is the Visconti Palazzo di Sassuolo, and I'm probably butchered that name. I normally do, as I'm sure you have realised when it comes to pen names and ink names, but this is a really beautiful pen. So to start off with, it's a little bit difficult to see here, but you've got a palace inscribed on that body there. If I try and see if I can show you there a little bit more detail. And then you have this yellow dawn material here, which is brilliant. It's got an old style Voyager keel clip. This is an older 18 karat gold nib there that you can see from Visconti. But I just love how this nib writes. It's a little bit thinner than I normally prefer in a pen. Certainly on the section. A little bit like the Andromeda here, but I absolutely love this pen. I do have another similar pen which has this yellow dawn throughout the body, but this one I have inked up the Palace this week. Then we have this one here. This is the Atelier Lusso, and this is the Carina, and it's called the black ice material, and the material itself is not a resin, it's not a celluloid, it's alumilite, which is a bit of a mix between resin and other properties. This has some metal chips inside, and you can probably see there's a metal chip there. You've got a metal chip here on the end. You've actually got it throughout the body and the cap, and it allows the material to sparkle a little bit. But as I understand it, this is a little bit more harder to work with when turning a pen, because it will blunt your drill bits quite a lot. But this is a really, really lovely pattern, and it's this clip here I have allowed to patina. It's a bronze clip, and I will probably polish that back up again, but at the moment it's I'm letting that patina. I don't mind a patina too much on bronze. I tend to not like it when it's on silver, so I will probably polish that back up probably this week. And this has a number 6 size Yovo, and it's a broad nib there. Again, it's a really good size in my hand. It's not a heavy pen, and I do like writing with it. And then the last pen I have inked up here is this one. It's the Visconti Rotary, and it signifies 100 years, 1905 to 2005. This does have a lot of damage. I've shown this before. There is a lot of damage to the gold plating around here on the pen, around really all of the gold plating areas, and even here as well. But this has a blue lapis celluloid, and this is really, really nice. And what I really love about this pen is it's got an 18 karat gold fine nib here, and this writes really, really well. So for me, and I picked it up for an insane price. I think I picked it up for, I want to say £230, and it may have been a little bit less than that, maybe 210. But I know that this, to get a replacement nib on its own, like I thought if I bought the pen and the pen was really bad, then I could just use the nib and use the nib as a donor nib and put it on another pen and swap nibs around. But I love writing with this nib so much, I keep it in this pen. So I have that one inked up with me this week as well. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen here is the Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now, when I decided to get this material, I was looking at various rod sites to see what kind of material I could make out of a pen. And it was around a time where there were a lot of talk about the King Cobra nibs from Sailor. And I just saw this and I was like, you know what, I could really have a King Cobra on the cap. So I decided I would. So this is an Atelier Lusso Andromeda, and it's the King Cobra, and it is a broad and it's a steel nib. And then the ink in here is diamine, and it's Desert Rose, and this is a penventure.com exclusive ink, but this is a really nice heavy sheening ink. If you want it, it's more of a purple ink with a greeny gold sheen to it. The next pen is the Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove. So we'll do an ink swatch, and you can see there that that's quite a nice wet nib. So this is the Montegrappa, and it's the Extra 1930, and I'm going to run out of space here. I know I am, because I normally do. It's the shiny, I'm going to try and write a little bit smaller lines, Dove. It's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is diamine, and it's Earl Grey, which is really my most favourite grey ink. The next pen is the Montegrappa Bartolomeo Ferrachina in the shiny circles. So we'll do another ink swatch. Now, although I like how this nib writes, and I do find it writes maybe a little bit wetter, I do find that this nib doesn't quite have as much bounce to it as the previous nib. So this is a Montegrappa, and it's the Bartolomeo Ferrachina. And I'm not going to fit the shiny circles in here, I think. So I'm just going to put in a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't have fit shiny circles. And then the ink in here is the same ink as the pen above. It's diamine Earl Grey. And we'll see both of those dry, and hopefully you'll see a bit of a difference there in colour between the two. The next pen is a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, I don't normally have this ink in this pen. I normally have a golder sort of ink or a browner ink. I decided I would actually change and put a different ink in. So this is the Pelikan M1000 Raden, and it's a Starlight. And technically these Raden strips of abalone here in the body really shine so many different colours. I can really put any colour in. So this is a medium, and it's an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is diamine, and it's Apple Glory, which for me is a really lovely crispy apple coloured ink. The next pen is the Pelikan M1000 Raden Sunlight. So let's do an ink swatch. And let's take a look here at the colour. So this is a Pelikan M1000 Raden Sunlight. It's a medium 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is diamine, and it's wild strawberry, which is a lovely red ink. The next pen is the Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Positano blue. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this, as you can see here, is a super wet nib. So this is the Wahl Eversharp, and it's the Decoband Oversize, and it's a Positano. It's a medium 18 cat gold nib. Now, because this is writing so wet, I think this might start to feather, because this is a super wet writing nib. The ink in here today is diamine, Azure blue, which is a very nice sort of mid to dark blue ink. For me, not too dark. The next pen is a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Jade. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, another super wet nib. So there is a chance. I did refill this actually. This is running a little bit wetter, so I think this definitely will feather. This is a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Jade, and it is a medium 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is diamine Aqua Lagoon, which I have actually just bought. I bought this ink about almost 5 years ago, and I didn't use much of it. And in this last year, I've gone through almost, I want to say about 60 millilitres of it. So almost an 80 millilitre bottle. I've not in the last year been able to buy the 80 millilitre bottle version of this pen. So in the end, I caved and I bought 4 30 millilitre bottles. So I've managed to top up my 80 millilitre bottle, and I've actually managed to fill and empty another 80 millilitre bottle. So I actually do have I have two full bottles, about 160 millilitres of ink now. The next pen here is the Visconti, and this is the Ducale Palazzo di Sassuolo in the amber. We'll do an ink swatch here. And you can see here, this is a lovely orange ink. So this is the Visconti Ducale Palazzo di Sassuolo. And this is just double checking that, it is a medium, and it's an 18 cat? Yeah, 18 cat gold nib. It's the old style nibs from Visconti. And then the ink in here is Sailor Gentle Apricot, which is a favourite orange ink of mine. The next pen inked up is the Atelier Lusso Carina in the Black Ice Illumilite. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And have a look at this. So this is an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Black Ice, and it's a broad steel nib, and then the ink in here is diamine, and it's blaze orange. And then the last pen inked up is the Visconti Rotary. So we'll do an ink swatch here. Now this is a fine nib, but as you can see here, hopefully it is quite a wet writing nib. So this is a Visconti Rotary, and it's a fine, and it is an 18 cat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Rohrer and Klinger, and it is Blue Mare. So I think let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. We have an Atelier Lusso Andromeda in the King Cobra in a broad steel nib, inked up with Diamine Desert Rose. We have a Montegrappa Extra 1930 Shiny Lines Dove in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. We have a Montegrappa Bartolomeo Ferrachina in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Earl Grey. And you can see the slight difference here between the difference on the nibs, on how light this one is versus a slightly darker one here. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Starlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Apple Glory. We have a Pelikan M1000 Raden Sunlight in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Wild Strawberry. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Positano Blue in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Azure Blue. We have a Wahl Eversharp Decoband Oversize in the Jade in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Diamine Aqua Lagoon. We have a Visconti Ducale Palazzo di Sassuolo in a medium 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Sailor Gentle Apricot. And then we have an Atelier Lusso Carina in the Black Ice, with a broad steel nib, inked up with Diamine Blaze Orange. And then we have a Visconti Rotary in a fine 18 karat gold nib, inked up with Rohrer and Klinger Blue Mare. So there you have it. That's my currently inked pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.